Hey everybody, welcome back to Sunflower Cottage Crochet. I am Sarah and this is our Tunisian Simple Stitch tutorial. So I hope you watched the introductory video. I know it was a lot to take in, but it really is going to help you because there are a lot of terms and a lot of explanations on how to get started that were very important. And the next thing to learn naturally would be the most simplified stitch there is in Tunisian, and that's the Tunisian Simple Stitch, or TSS for short. So in my introductory video I mentioned that there's a foundation row and that each row consists of a forward pass and a return pass. I am going to go forward with assuming, and I truly hope you have, that you watched that video. So for a Tunisian Simple Stitch, there is no multiple, so you can chain up as many as you want. And to do so, I recommend doing a gauge swatch, which is standard sizing of that is 4 inches, so 4 by 4. So just chain up until you have, I'm not even going to count, roughly 4 inches. A little bit further. All right, so now I hope you recall from that video that this stitch here counts, this loop counts as a stitch, and it comes out of this one. So here's the first stitch, right? So I'm going to turn mine over and grab the back hump, and we're going to do our foundation row. And I'm going to insert my hook into the second, chain from the hook, and yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we're doing what we called our cast on from the introductory video. So I'm going to keep going down the chain and insert into each chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. And I'm going to leave those on the hook, which is why you need the long hooks. Okay. So I'm going to keep casting on, and I went over this a little slower in the introductory video. Okay, this is just our foundation row. It is not the Tunisian Simple Stitch. But every stitch has to have the foundation row, and they're all the same for each stitch. Okay, so I'm coming up on the end, and I'm just casting on and gathering up all my loops, and now I've reached my final one, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab it too. Okay. All right, so I will put a materials list down in the description box below. All right, so in order to do our return pass for the foundation row, we need to work our first edge stitch, left edge stitch. And again, I went over that in the beginner tutorial, the introductory one. So we're going to chain up 1 by going through 1 loop on the hook. Okay, so that gave us our first edge stitch, and you can see both legs of it here. All right, so now we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and pull through 2, and pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way down until you only have 1 loop left on your hook, and that creates our right edge stitch. All right, so there is the foundation row. It has our right edge stitch and our left edge stitch. Okay, so you notice that there are a bunch of bars here, vertical bars. There's also one right here, but again, I just called that the right edge stitch, so we never work into that unless we're increasing, and that I go over a little bit in the introductory video, but we're going to skip that for now. So skipping this one and working into this next one, I want you to insert your hook underneath that bar, that leg only, because in the introductory video I did explain that there are 2 legs to each stitch. There's a front and a back. You're going to insert underneath the front leg and grab, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we're working our row 1 forward pass each row consists of 2 passes. So I inserted under the next front bar, a yarn over, and I pulled up another loop. Now we're actually working the Tunisian Simple Stitch. So here's my next bar. I'm going to insert right underneath that bar, yarn over, and pull up another loop. Okay, I'm going to insert underneath the next front bar, yarn over, and pull up another loop, keeping all these loops on my long hook. Go underneath the next front bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Go under the next front bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And we're going to keep doing that all the way here. I'm going to do it with you on camera, nice and slow. Your work is going to curl. That's normal. As your work grows, it will curl slightly less, but you're still going to need to block it. I have a video on that too. I'll link in the description below. Okay, I'm coming up to my very last stitch, and I have worked my last vertical bar. Now we have that left edge, and as I explained in my introductory video, you need to turn the stitch so that you can get to 2 loops. You always want to get 2 loops on the edge, left edge stitch. So I'm going to slide it onto my hook. So you can see there, I have the 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. All right, so now I have finished my first left edge stitch. We need to create a new one. So now we're going to work our return pass, which will complete row 1. Remember, foundation row, then row 1, row 2. Okay, so to make a new edge stitch, we're going to yarn over and pull through 1 loop, so chain up 1 basically, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time all the way down. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and here we are, the last 2, and now we only have 1, and we've created our next right edge stitch. Okay, so now here's what your work looks like so far. We have a completed foundation row and our next row. I also explained in the introductory video about binding off. This gap gets taken care of in the bind off process. So to continue on, we're going to do exactly what we just did. We do not chain up at the beginning of each forward pass. We skip this very first vertical bar and go into this. This is technically your actual first vertical bar because this is an edge stitch. So we're going to go under that first vertical bar, yarn over and pull up a loop again. Okay. Find your next vertical bar, go under that, yarn over and pull up another loop. The next vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop. Here's the next vertical. We're going to go under, yarn over, and pull up a loop. I'm only going under 1 loop. Okay, under the next vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop. I'm going to keep doing that all the way down. And if I'm starting to go too fast, just pause me. Okay, so I've gathered everything but the left edge. So now I'm going to grab that. And remember, we want to grab both loops, and I tend to have to like really slide this over and on. Because you have so many loops on your hook, it does make it a little awkward. It's also easier when you're not having to work underneath the camera. So yarn over and then pull up a loop. So now we've finished that edge stitch. And we're going to work our return pass, which finishes row 2. And to start that, we need to chain up 1, so we pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, just like a normal chain up. And now we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So we're basically finishing a single crochet. And yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way down until there's only 1 loop left. And then you will have created your right edge stitch as well as all of your Tunisian simple stitches. Okay, so now you can sort of see the Tunisian simple stitch pattern developing. It consists of front bars and cross vertical bars underneath. The back side looks like a knitted purl stitch. It's really kind of neat, but because you're working on the front only, the work does want to curl up. Sometimes you can grab those clips that people use in sewing instead of using pins. So I've put clips down the bottom to create weight. But also if you crochet a little bit looser and you use that larger hook, then you're going to have less curl. Okay? So I'm going to work another row with you. We're going to go underneath that next bar and pull up a loop. And we're going to start gathering up all of our loops by going underneath those front vertical bars and pulling up a loop. So I'm going to speed up just a little. You can always pause me and try to get this gathered up. This is our forward pass of the next row. And I'm sorry if you can hear everybody in the background. All right. Now I've gathered up all of the bars. I'm going to gather up my edge stitch, my left edge, okay, and pull up a loop. All right, so now we want to chain 1, that makes our edge, and then pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way back down until there's only 1 loop left on the hook. Voila. Now you can really start to see that stitch pattern build. It's really pretty. And it is a simple stitch, which is why it's called Tunisian Simple Stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the bind off. Let's pretend I have my 4 inches here. So to bind off in Tunisian Simple Stitch, I'm going to do a simple slip stitch bind off. So we do only a forward pass. We won't be doing a return pass because we're going to work the stitches off as we go. So you're going to go right into that first bar that I have you always going into, and then you'll yarn over and pull through that and the loop on your hook. So now we still only have 1 loop. Go under the next vertical bar, yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. Go under the next bar, yarn over, and pull through both loops on that hook. Go under the next bar and do the same. So you're slip stitching your way across your forward pass. I'm also going to put a link to the blog post that goes with this in the description box below, because sometimes people don't want to watch a video, they want to read the post. Right, and now here we are coming up on that edge stitch, and we do need to grab both loops as usual. Easier said than done. And then slip stitch. And then you would fasten off as normal. I like to chain 1 and then snip the yarn. So that is a Tunisian Simple Stitch complete with bind off. To work the crochet along square, you will need to make this a 12 by 12 square. And if you're doing the crochet along with us, then the pattern can be found on the blog post, which again I will have linked down below, and you can go from there. But really all you need to do is work this up as a 12 by 12 square. So this is just good practice for you. And there it is. The bind off looks exactly like the rest of the stitches. I love that about it. So pretty, so neat, and so versatile, so fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next stitch tutorial coming up soon.